Welcome to Brainy Bits and Trivia Tips. I'm your trivia starship captain, Monkey. I sip Romulan ale, and I know things. Let's get started. Star Trek isn't just a television series. It's a cultural phenomenon that has influenced technology, entertainment, and even language. This episode aims to delve beyond the known universe of Star Trek, uncovering secrets that redefine what you thought you knew about the series. Join us on this voyage as we explore the hidden depths of Star Trek. The genesis of Star Trek. In 1966, Gene Roddenberry launched what would become one of the most influential science fiction series of all time. Roddenberry's vision was influenced by the tumultuous social changes of the 1960s, aiming to present a future where humanity had overcome its divisions. Star Trek was initially pitched as a space western. It was pitched to Desilu Productions as a wagon train to the stars. This concept evolved significantly during the early development stages, incorporating more sophisticated themes of exploration and moral philosophy. The series was groundbreaking in its optimistic view of the future, contrasting sharply with the dystopian trends prevalent in sci-fi at the time. This foundational optimism continues to be a central theme of the franchise. The evolution of the Starfleet uniform. The Starfleet uniform has become an iconic element of Star Trek, evolving significantly across the series' various installments. From the original series' brightly colored tunics to the more militaristic styles of later series, each change reflects shifts in the show's creative direction and the cultural context of its production periods. The original series featured primary colors to take advantage of then-new color television technology, with each color representing different ship functions. This not only added visual appeal, but also conveyed the organized, hierarchical nature of Starfleet. By contrast, the uniforms in Star Trek, The Next Generation, and subsequent series adopted a more subdued palette and a design that emphasized professionalism and functionality, mirroring the franchise's maturation. Technological predictions and inspirations. Star Trek is renowned for its visionary technology, much of which has presaged real-world innovations. Just to point to, the communicator inspired mobile phones, while the concept of the replicator foreshadowed 3D printing technologies. Comparison with contemporary gadgets reveals how Star Trek not only imagined the technology of the future, but also inspired generations of scientists and engineers to turn science fiction into reality. For instance, the medical tricorder spurred development in portable diagnostic devices. Today, handheld devices capable of diagnosing conditions instantly reflect Star Trek's enduring influence on technological innovation.
Here are some fascinating bits of trivia about some lesser-known but significant guest stars who appeared in Star Trek. Stephen Hawking, the famed physicist, appeared as himself in Star Trek The Next Generation episode, Descent, playing a game of poker with Data, Einstein, and Newton. This made him the only guest star to play himself in any series. King Abdullah II of Jordan. Before he became king, Prince Abdullah appeared as an uncredited extra in the Voyager episode Investigations. A big fan of Star Trek, his brief role was a simple background scene. Seth MacFarlane. Before he was widely recognized for creating Family Guy, MacFarlane appeared in 2 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise as Ensign Rivers. Kelsey Grammer, best known for his role as Frasier Crane on Cheers and Frasier, Grammer appeared as Captain Morgan Bateson in the Next Generation episode Cause and Effect. Mick Fleetwood, the drummer and co-founder of Fleetwood Mac, made a very under-the-radar appearance as an alien in the Next Generation episode Manhunt, where he was heavily made up, making him nearly unrecognizable. The Star Trek universe is rich with a variety of languages, reflecting the vast array of species and cultures it depicts. Here are some intriguing details about some of these languages. Klingon, Klingon Hol, perhaps the most famous fictional language from Star Trek. Klingon was initially created by James Doohan, Scotty, with further development by linguist Mark Okrand. The language features a complex grammar, a vocabulary rich in warfare and honor-related terms, and sounds that challenge many English speakers. It has a dedicated following, complete with its own dictionary, learning materials, and even translated works like Shakespeare's Hamlet. Next we have Vulcan. Vulcan's language is logical and reflects the Vulcan philosophy of emotional control and logic. Though not as extensively developed as Klingon, several phrases and words have become popular, especially the greeting "live long and prosper" and its response "peace and long life." How about the complexity of Bajoran? Bajoran features occasionally in episodes involving Bajor. While not fully developed, it includes its own script. The language reflects Bajoran's spirituality and culture. Cardassian, this language was used by the Cardassians, a key antagonist species in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. While the language itself isn't as developed in terms of vocabulary or grammar, its use in the series adds depth to the Cardassian culture, known for its art, literature, and a complex political landscape. Last, let's talk about this language featured in the Next Generation episode Darmok is particularly unique because it is entirely based on allegory. The Tamarians communicate through metaphors derived from mythological and historical contexts, which makes understanding them a challenge for universal translators. These languages enhance the storytelling of Star Trek by deepening the cultural backgrounds of alien species and adding to the realism of the universe. It is well known that the Star Trek series includes subtle Easter eggs that delight dedicated fans. Here are a few interesting ones from various series. R2-D2 cameo. In the 2009 Star Trek film, a tiny R2-D2 from Star Wars can be seen flying through space debris in one of the shots, a playful nod from director J.J. Abrams, linking his work on both franchises. Tribbles. In DS9, in the Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode Trials and Tribulations, the DS9 crew goes back in time to the events of the original series episode The Trouble with Tribbles. Not only is the episode a tribute to the original, but it's also filled with visual and dialogue references to other episodes and the broader Star Trek universe. The Picard Maneuver. Not just a tactical move used by Captain Picard, but in the Next Generation, Patrick Stewart often straightens his uniform when standing up, which became known as the Picard Maneuver. This was later acknowledged in-universe when Barclay, nervous about meeting Picard, straightens his uniform in a similar manner. Vulcan Harp. In an episode of Star Trek Voyager, Tuvok is briefly seen playing a Vulcan harp, an instrument first introduced in the original series being played by Spock. This is a subtle nod to the shared Vulcan heritage and cultural practices. Kobayashi Maru, in various series, references to the infamous no-win scenario from The Wrath of Khan appear as a metaphor for impossible situations, linking different characters' experiences and decisions back to this pivotal moment in Star Trek lore. The production of the Star Trek series and movies has seen its share of behind-the-scenes controversies and challenges. Here are a couple of notable instances. Gene Roddenberry's creative control and health issues. The creator of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry, faced numerous challenges in maintaining creative control, particularly during the later stages of his life while Star Trek: The Next Generation was on air. Network executives often clashed with him over the show's direction. His deteriorating health also affected his ability to influence the series, leading to disputes over how his ideas were implemented. Nichelle Nichols' near departure. Nichelle Nichols, who played Lieutenant Uhura in Star Trek, the original series, almost left the show after the first season due to frustration with her limited role and the racial typecasting prevalent in the industry at the time. A conversation with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was a fan of the show and her performance, convinced her to stay. He emphasized the importance of her role as a visible figure of African American achievement in a prominent science fiction series. Star Trek Voyager leadership changes. Star Trek Voyager saw significant behind-the-scenes changes in its leadership. The series began under the guidance of creator Gene Roddenberry and executive producer Rick Berman, but creative differences led to changes in the writing team. This included the departure of Michael Piller after the third season and brought in Jerry Taylor, and later, Brannon Braga. Each change brought shifts in the show's tone and direction, sometimes leading to disagreements within the team and among fans. William Shatner and George Takei's feud. An ongoing controversy that has persisted for decades involves the alleged feud between William Shatner, who played Captain Kirk, and George Takei, who played Sulu. The dispute reportedly began during the original series and has continued into recent years with public exchanges that suggest a deep-seated rift, often attributed to personality clashes and disagreements over the importance of various characters. These controversies and challenges reflect the complex dynamics of producing a long-running and deeply influential series like Star Trek, which involves balancing creative visions, actor egos, and the demands of a network and fan base. Over the years, several Star Trek story concepts were developed but never realized as part of the official series or movie lineup. Here are three notable examples. Star Trek Phase 2, initially proposed as a direct sequel to the original Star Trek series, Star Trek Phase 2 was intended to be the flagship show for a new television network in the late 1970s. The series would have continued the adventures of the original Enterprise crew, with new characters joining the cast. However, the success of Star Wars and the changing television landscape led to the cancellation of the project in favor of producing Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Star Trek: The Beginning. After the mixed reception of Star Trek Nemesis and the cancellation of Star Trek Enterprise, a script titled Star Trek: The Beginning was pitched. It was intended to be a trilogy set after Enterprise, but before the original series, focusing on the Earth-Romulan War. The project was ultimately shelined in favor of rebooting the franchise with J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek film, Star Trek Federation. In the mid-2000s, Star Trek Federation was proposed as a new series set in the 3000s, a period marked by a declining and corrupt Federation facing a new enemy. The concept aimed to refresh the franchise with a darker tone and a new generation of starships. However, it never progressed beyond the conceptual stage, as CBS opted to go in a different direction, leading eventually to the development of Star Trek Discovery. These projects demonstrate the evolving nature of the Star Trek franchise and the various directions it could have taken, influenced by both internal creative decisions and external market factors.
Star Trek conventions are pivotal in maintaining the franchise's vibrant fan community. These events serve as gathering points for fans from around the world, offering spaces to celebrate shared passions and meet the creators and stars of the series. Personal stories from these conventions highlight their impact on individual fans, many of whom find inspiration and camaraderie within the Star Trek community. These conventions not only reinforce the cultural significance of Star Trek, but also contribute to its ongoing legacy, fostering a passionate and engaged fan base. The future of Star Trek looks promising, with new series, films, and other projects always in development. These includes the continued adventures of Star Trek, strange new worlds, and potential new ventures with Captain Philippa Georgiou in the much-anticipated Section 31, that continue to expand the narrative scope of the franchise. Speculation and excitement about these projects keep the fan community buzzing, demonstrating the enduring appeal of the Star Trek universe. As the franchise continues to evolve, it remains a beacon of hope and imagination, inspiring new generations to look to the stars. Fans have played a crucial role in the longevity of the Star Trek franchise. Through fan fiction, art, and other forms of creative expression, they have expanded the universe in countless ways. These fan contributions not only enrich the franchise, but also highlight the profound impact Star Trek has had on its audience. The creativity and dedication of the fans are integral to the franchise's enduring success and cultural relevance. The collaborative relationship between Star Trek and its fans is a testament to the franchise's importance as a cultural and creative force. This exploration of Star Trek's lesser-known secrets and facts underscores the vastness and depth of its universe. From its philosophical core to its cultural impact, Star Trek remains a seminal work in the science fiction genre, continually evolving and inspiring. As we conclude this journey, it's clear that Star Trek's voyage is far from over. Its legacy of hope, exploration, and innovation continues to resonate, promising that, just like the Starship Enterprise, Star Trek will continue to boldly go where no one has gone before.
So there we have it. This was an XXL episode of Brainy Bits and Trivia Tips with a deep dive into the world of Star Trek. I love a good sci-fi story, and Star Trek never fails to deliver. Till next time, this is Monkey reminding you to like and subscribe and be good to each other. Live long and prosper, my friends.